Hello everybody, it's the 16th of February today, and I'm looking to do some tidying up on this hornbeam. It's looking very tatty now, still holding on to its leaves, but they're just, well, they don't look quite so bad on a day like today when they're dry, but when it's been raining and they're wet and they just hang like sodden rags, isn't particularly attractive look, but I've had other things to do, and I've finally decided today's the day. I'm going to look at this. It'll be repotting season soon. This tree's not going to get repotted this year, but it is going to get a bit of a tidy up. I won't make you watch me remove all these leaves. I'll spare you that. Okay, that's better. That's kind of opened up that winter silhouette. I probably should have done this a lot sooner. All those leaves are a good place for pests and diseases to hide out, but by the same token they're also a place where ladybirds and helpful things could hide out as well, I guess. So swings and roundabouts, I didn't find any of either in this case, so as always, Cooper's lurking somewhere in the background, telling me that he can smell stuff that I can't smell. His feet don't work as well as they used to, but his nose surely does. Isn't that right, Cooper-Doo? Cooper-Doo, you're going to talk to your door in public? No? Okay then. You are rude. As usual, there's a playlist that this tree is a part of, detailing its development over the last few years, but not its initial development. This is probably one of my longest surviving trees. Let's give you a bit of a spin, and I say that because in the spirit of honesty, I lost a lot of trees over the years when I was starting out, and since then. Sometimes a tree will just up and keel over on you for no particular reason, or a pest or a disease will get in. This tree I grew for a long time, and then it had quite a significant trunk chop at this point, which is almost completely healed over now. And as you can see, I was attempting to grow it in the more conventional informal upright style. It was very much grown clip and grow, probably over the last 25 or even 30 years. So it was grown and chopped, and then chopped again here, chopped again here probably, and again at this point. So it's had a lot of chops to get it to where it is. What I want to do to it today is a little bit of tidying, just to cut back some of these long straight pieces and sort out this apex, which has become a little congested. Cooper's decided he is going to come and say hello to his adore in public. I think what he's probably saying is, give me a biscuit, I'd like to go in and have a cuddle now. Isn't it time we went indoors and had a cuddle? Because he does like a cuddle, and we might well do that in a minute. But anyway, what I want to do is look at this apex, so if I can get the camera to raise up so you can see it a bit more clearly. It's trying to drop. Hold on, I'll come back. There, that's slightly better. Cooper's gonna stay there and give me the eye and the ears. And again, I can smell stuff. Right, what I want to do is to just bring this back into a kind of less congested state. So I'm also going to shorten some of these back I'm going to take out that one, shorten that back to a bud. Take out a couple of these central pieces, shorten that, and I may find that I might want to do a bit more to that once the buds break, but for now that's not too bad. This particular branch I want to shorten so that we can maybe get a little bit more ramification. And someone did ask me about the clip and grow method, and that's where you cut back and let it grow again, which, as it sounds. And in this instance I'm going to cut back to this bud, which is pointing in this general direction. And I'm going to take out a couple of these pieces that are growing inside this curve. What I don't want is a big bulge where I've got lots of branches all growing in the same place. That's better. So I'm going to take off a couple of these pieces that are growing straight upwards. I'm going to remove this fat chunk over this slightly thinner branch, which I think will look more in proportion. I'm going to cut that back and we'll see where it breaks from. Cooper's given up and he's now going to give me the look. I'm really hard done by and I'd really like you to come and give me something nice, or a cuddle, or both. Don't worry, I will. Okay, so basically just going to work my way round now, eliminating bits that are sticking up, and cutting back to a bud that's facing in the direction I want where I can. As I say, this tree will probably need a bit more pruning once the buds start to burst and I can see what's growing and what isn't growing. I don't seem to have much in the way of deadwood, which is nice. Okay, so that's not too bad. That's tidied up the tip. I'm going to take that back to that thinner branch, and again we'll see what breaks and what doesn't. Okay, now we just need to look at this, so I'm going to shorten that, get rid of that. I'm just trying to bring it back where I've got lots of buds in the same place, lots of branches in the same place. And that looks better, I think. Okay. Not sure about this piece. Got. Sometimes you just look at something and you just, well, I can't tell you exactly why I needed to lose it, but I just looked at it and thought that has to go. So, okay. And we have an old piece here, which is a bit of a cheat and goes against the grain of what some of the books might tell you. Let's move in a bit closer. Okay, so this branch is a normal right-hand branch, but if we come around this side, you can also see that it is also a back branch filling in this area of the tree. Now, many of the books, particularly the books that were out in the sort of 70s and 80s, would tell you that's an absolute no-no. But for me, I'm making trees that I like. I'm not making trees to show, other than here on YouTube. and I do this just for fun. I don't particularly worry about prizes and things. I just want to grow some trees that I like, and this is a way I make a record of them. And I often say I'm making a what I do videos rather than a what you should do videos. So if you don't want to break the rules, don't. That's absolutely fine and dandy. Me, I'm more happy to break the rules, even on this, which is a more conventional bonsai. As I said earlier, back when I started, I only had the books and I didn't have the experience of growing and losing trees, and I just like a more naturalistic approach in many of my newer trees that I'm growing, and I tend to grow them in a more naturalistic style. But anyway, onwards and downwards. So I'm just going to keep going around the tree, shortening back some of these long growths, removing these bits that are growing straight up, occasionally cutting back a thick piece to a thinner piece just to help with a little bit more taper, removing bits that are crossing and rubbing onto each other. Obviously you don't want to remove everything, because otherwise you just end up back to a bare trunk every winter. You're not going to develop a tree, but sometimes it is useful. No, I'm not going to wire that, I'm just going to trim it. Now the tree should backbud as a result of this. Thinks it's been nibbled on by a deer or a passing goat or some such. Thinks I need to repair the damage, and so it should put out all new shoots, and I might well have to do some shoot selection again, but that's okay. I've got a lot of trees, and that gives me a lot of bonsai work to do, which is, again, I know I've said this before, but this might be the first of my videos you've ever seen. I think if I had just one tree that needed work every little while, I would probably find bonsai a very boring hobby. But because I've got a lot of trees, there's always something that needs to be done to one of them for pretty much the entirety of the year, even over winter. I find things that need doing for the most part. Occasionally you think, well, now the weather's not kind enough to do anything, but that's okay. There we go, that's better. This branch looks a bit straight from that angle, I know, but actually from the front, from the viewing angle, I think it looks quite good, so I'm quite happy with that. Yeah, there we go. So that's the tree set up for spring. I need to clear off some of this moss that's stuck to these weird and wonderful roots. I did try and create a natural root system with this tree, but I didn't get very far in this particular piece. I really like, so I'm glad I didn't get rid of it. I'm going to need slightly tougher wire brush, I think, to actually remove this moss. Anyway, that's probably enough of that. You get the idea with that. I will continue with that off camera. The other thing I want to do is I'm going to remove some of the, or scrape aside some of the bonsai soil at the top of the pot and add in some controlled release fertilizer. Nice generous handful. This tree's really quite vigorous. And then push the soil back over. That'll keep that wet and damp, and every time I wash I will flush a little bit down to the bottom of the pot. Okay, a bit at the front. There we go. That's about it. I'm not going to repot this tree this year. I think, if memory serves, and it doesn't always, it was repotted last year. We seem to have won the argument with Cooper about whether he's going to get bored of waiting before I feel guilty and give in. So I guess that's good. Always when you step back and think you've finished, you see a little bit more. There we go. So we'll pop the can in for scale. It's just a regular sized drinks can, and give you a final twirl on this hornbeam. All that remains to be said is thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Do all the usual YouTube things, the liking, the subscribing, the commenting below, but most of all, please stay safe, everybody.